My name is Matt, and I have a confession to make. I used to think that AI skills were completely useless, and for good reason. When they first came out, I thought that people were just bloating up their context windows with all this useless information to get their AI to perform perfectly. People would write all these crazy things, it would be paragraphs long, and it was just really a waste of time for me, and I could definitely see that. But now it's been a couple of months since skills came out, and I've got the chance to use a little bit more of them. A creator called Matt Pocock has actually created some really awesome skills that I'm very excited to show you guys today. Before we get started, I really want to define what a skill is. All a skill is a markdown file that you pass to your agent so that it can read the instructions within that markdown file before actually going out and doing a task. A good example of this would be something like a content creation skill. Like the way that I have my brand voice and the way that I speak on camera, I want that to be reflected in my agent's writing. So I'm going to pass it a skill that says, hey, talk like somebody who just gets down to brass tacks and gives you very direct information. So now that you understand that, let's talk a little bit more about Matt Pocock's skills. Today, I'm gonna be showcasing 3 of his most popular skills: the teach skill, the grill me skill, and the to document skill. These 3 skills by themselves have saved me a ton of time and have helped me not only in my software engineering journey and career, but also in my academic career as well. So the first project I wanted to showcase is this Panopto downloader that I created just today. So if you don't know what Panopto is, it's essentially a place where colleges store all the course information that corresponds with the course you're taking. I am taking an AWS course right now, and all the videos from my course so far have been stored in this one place right here on Panopto. The issue with Panopto is that, to me, it's a really bad platform. It doesn't allow you to download these videos and save them, doesn't allow you to speed up the videos to 3x speed, and the transcriptions are really bad. So that's why I just like taking all this course content, bringing it onto my own machine, and just interacting with it on there. The issue is Panopto doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to stay on its platform, right? So it doesn't have a way for you to actually go out and download all these videos or files. And so what I wanted to do was just like, okay, how can I create a super simple tool that just allows me to download all of these videos in a fast way that doesn't involve any sort of heavy lifting, any sort of going through the back end, sending some sort of console command to Panopto or something like that. Let's just make a really simple extension that allows me to just download all these videos. And that's exactly what I did. So I reverse engineered the Panopto API, I downloaded all the videos, and now I want to actually create an extension that it can be published and then people can use to download videos like this in the future. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the grill me skill because I've never actually uploaded a extension to the Chrome Web Store before. I know I could just go through and type to the agent like, hey, this is what I want you to do, go out and do it. But the grill me skill actually allows you to get a little bit more granular than that. So this is the actual grill me skill over here. It references this grilling skill, which is a really simple, just 3-sentence or 4 or 5-sentence statement that says this: interview me relentlessly about every aspect of this plan until we reach a shared understanding. Walk down each branch of the design tree, resolving dependencies between decisions one by one. For each question, provide your recommended answer. Ask the questions one at a time, waiting for feedback on each question before continuing. Asking multiple questions at once is bewildering. I also love that bewildering statement. It's very strong. If a question can be answered by exploring the codebase, explore the codebase instead. So do you see how simple this skill is? It's not 20 paragraphs long, it's not a ton of statements, it's just a very simple way for you to get your agent to ask you questions and to get the most out of the conversation you're having with that agent. So let's give it a shot. I'm gonna use the /grill me skill, and I'm gonna say, I want to publish my project to the Chrome Web Store. What do I need to do to improve my project so that it is publish worthy? Okay, and with a question like that, it's gonna go out and actually check from that skill, it says successfully loaded that skill over here, and break down to me what I need to do in order to get a proper output. So let's take a look at what the grill me skill actually said. It says, before we get into specifics, I want to map the decision tree, and the root of it determines almost everything downstream. Let me start from there. Now, the fact that the AI agent is actually able to stop us and say, okay, this is the first decision that we're gonna make that's gonna affect the rest of the project is very impressive. Because usually when you're talking with an AI agent, it's very sycophantic, which means that it always just says, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, you're the best. Like, yeah, keep going. And it just suggests one thing and it's like very happy with the results. That is something that I don't want. I want an AI to actually ask me these difficult questions. And it asked me a pretty difficult question, right? Who is the audience and why the Chrome Web Store? I want this to be on the Chrome Web Store. I want it to be published. And it's saying like, hey, if this is just for you, don't worry about it. But if this is for a real public audience, then it's gonna be a little bit different the way that I currently have it architected. See, because I need to re-download it to download in browser, which is a much bigger project and raises copyright policy risk. I just want this tool to help people download course content from Panopto. That's because I think that all AI education and all education should be available to more people. Let's move forward with bringing this to a real public audience and continue from there. As you can see here, it's still asking me more questions, right? How do you survive the copyright policy gate? Let me answer that specifically. Yes, I accept positioning as a narrow personal archival tool, and I don't really care so much about the free education angle. I just want this to be specifically to solve the problem of people needing to download their course content from Panopto. And again, like the AI agent normally wouldn't be asking me these difficult questions. And I really appreciate the AI actually taking a step back, figuring this out for me, and then going and implementing. Okay, so I don't want to sit here and actually build out the entire agent. I'm more here to showcase the skills themselves. The AI tool is actually going to ask me way more questions and keep breaking it down until it gets to a good point to start implementing things. But I really think that this question and this grill me tool is really useful when you're trying to build out products yourself. So on that same vein, I want to show you guys the teach skill, which is something that I've been using a ton these past few weeks. So if you don't know what the teach skill is, let me break it down for you right now. So the teach skill is a little bit more involved than the previous skill we just discussed. The teach skill actually goes out and helps you create really useful content to help you prepare for exams or just learn for any sort of skill at all. So I want to showcase this midterm practice exam that I created based on the questions that I actually created from downloading those videos from Panopto. As you can see over here, it's an actual entire quiz. It created a cram sheet for me. It created some flashcards for me. And this entire practice exam, everything like this, just was created in one go using this skill. I want to showcase how this skill works and how it's actually broken down. So as you can see over here, it says the user has asked you to teach them something. This is a stateful request. They intend to learn the topic over multiple sessions. And now what it's going to say is it's going to actually use the current directory as a workspace, and the state of their learning is captured in this directory in several files. It's going to say there's a mission, there's the resources, which is the tools it's going to reference, or the content's going to reference. It has the learning record, which is like kind of where we're at, how we're learning. And then it has all these assets, like components that are shared across lessons, and notes to jot down user preferences or other things like that. So taking a look at more of the philosophy and some of these other tools over here, you can see that it says like to learn at a deep level, the user needs these three things: knowledge, skills, wisdom, and it actually like breaks down how the agent is going to go out and create this content for you. It actually gives it like a teaching paradigm in order for you to actually learn a new thing. Like for example, look at this fluency versus storage strength. It says you should be careful to split between two types of learning: fluency versus storage, where fluency is in the moment retrieval and storage is long-term retention. And it actually like breaks down what these two like ideas are. Now again, I don't want to have to read out this entire thing. Please just go download the skill yourself and give it a shot and let me know what you guys think about it. But I really think that like best way to kind of package a beautiful skill or get something to actually perform well as a skill is just to be very specific with what you want the agent to do. And in this case, yes, it's a little bit longer in terms of trying to get the agent to actually act in the proper way. But I think like kind of adding this mission part, this like lesson part, you know, how to break down lessons are all a integral part of like the learning experience. And Matt actually packaging this entire thing into just this one skill is really useful. Like again, it would have taken me a really long time to kind of create all these assets for me to actually learn and study for this midterm. I do this for pretty much all of my midterms now, and it's helped me a ton in actually preparing. I will say one thing that I don't like is that it's kind of easy to tell what questions are right or wrong, kind of just like looking at the questions. Like for here, right? A barrier in parallel computing means, and then you just pick the longest one, and it's usually the longest one every single time. Like, I don't know why that's a bug. Maybe it's bad at coming up with like wrong ideas or something like that, but it usually looks like the longest one every single time, and it's just something that I noticed and it's super weird. I could also just edit the skill myself and be like, make sure to be extra creative when coming up with extra multiple choice questions or something like that, and it would probably fix itself. But that's just one thing that I noted. Okay, so last but not least, I want to showcase the to-prd skill, which basically allows you to get an agent to write you a product requirements document, which helps you understand what the next steps of your actual project or product should be. So I want to showcase a project that I worked on for a little bit. This is the merge model arena. All it is a place for you to test different models and see how they output different results when you're trying to create some sort of creative work or just, are chatting with an agent. So all you do here is you click this button. I'm gonna do one more roll just because the animation's so much fun. And then you essentially just ask a question like, I want you to generate me a hook for an Instagram video about the newest GLM 5.2 model that just came out. And then you will send it out. And then it actually goes out and processes what the, hook would be. So Amazon Nova Micro would say, ready to revolutionize your workday. Or let's see something that Gemma said. We spent months building this. You're gonna see what GLM 5.2 can do. Obviously, some of them are better than others, but I think it's interesting to see how these older models perform when creating some sort of content, right? I don't want to read really too deeply into the outputs of these models. As you can see, these are a little bit older ones. Let's see what Command A30 says. Unveiling the ultimate ride. Experience the power and luxury of the GLM 5.2. I guess it thinks that the GLM 5.2 is a car. Let's see. Gemma says, tired of AI that almost gets it. There's a new standard. Okay, cool. And you can basically just like compare how different agents work. Also, wow, this output does not look correct, but that's what you get from ByteDance, I guess. All right, yeah, cool. So this project is really awesome and I would like to show it to more people, but the issue is that I don't really have a plan for how I want this project to move forward, right? So I want to create a product requirements document that lets me figure out what a user might want this project to look like or what this user might have in mind for the next steps in terms of developing the actual software. So I'm going to invoke the to-prd skill and I'm going to show you guys how that works. So if I do to-prd and I say, hey, I want to create a PRD for this project so I can showcase it and deploy it to more people. How does my project look so far? What is wrong with it? What can I do to improve it? Just let me know and let's create a document to do all the things that are needed for a PRD. Okay, so it looks like it's actually done. It says it has a complete picture and here's an honest assessment before we lock it in. So it's genuinely impressive, right? But there's no tests at all, multi-tenant catalog bug, no abuse protection, no security headers, pricing gaps, all this stuff, right? Okay, so let's see over here. What should the PRD focus on? Your ask spans both showcase and deploy to more people. These pull in different directions. So let's say I want to harden for the public deploy. Let's say, where should the test suite hook in? Currently there are none. So this establishes the first project testing scene. I want to stub upstream, test HTTP endpoints. Yep, that makes sense. So it just tests and it covers all these different features over here. Okay, sweet. So like I said, Claude on its own probably wouldn't actually have asked me those questions and it would have just said, okay, sounds good, let's deploy it. And it just would run through and publish something that wouldn't actually be worth publishing. This skill actually allows you to take a step back, create actual documentation that shows you how you can get to that point that you need to be at. And I really think that, again, this skill gives you more access to what Claude Code and what agentic engineering can be in the future. A way for you to actually work with somebody really closely and learn something new as you're doing it. That's the last thing I wanted to show you guys. I really hope that you learned something and thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day. Peace.